I'm about to photograph 3 galaxies with the Dwarf Mini. Now, this galaxy group is referred to as the Leo triplet, and it lies in the constellation of Leo. Now, having used several different smart telescopes in the past, like Venus Vespera, Celestron's Origin, and even ZWO Star, I'm here to find out if the Dwarf Mini sacrifices quality for the sake of portability. Now, for those of you who want results, go ahead, take a look at the timeline below, skip to the end for our conclusions to find out. But for the rest of you who want to take a deeper dive into the Dwarf Mini and see all that it really has to offer, like, subscribe, and stay tuned. So this is DwarfLab's newest iteration of smart telescope, the Dwarf Mini, and it promises to take some epic photos of the night sky, all in a rather impressive, lightweight, compact design. The Dwarf Mini aligns, tracks, stacks, and auto-processes your data to create beautiful photos of your favorite deep sky objects, all from within the DwarfLab app. Now, the DwarfLab app also includes several other imaging modes, which we will dive into here momentarily. But first, let's take a deeper dive into the Dwarf Mini itself, see what comes in the box, and talk about specifications and features. First, upon opening the box, you'll find the Dwarf Mini itself. The Dwarf Mini is an ultra-compact smart telescope that comes in at a mere 1.85 pounds and can fit into nearly any backpack or camera case that you wish to travel with. It even fits into your pocket. It uses a 30mm apochromatic lens with a focal length of 150mm for gorgeous color correction with a flat field across your entire field of view. It utilizes a highly sensitive Sony IMX662 color sensor for the astrophotography imaging modes and a 1080p wide field lens and sensor for the other imaging modes. It moves up, down, left, and right on an alt-azimuth mount, and although no tripod is required to use this, the DwarfLab's Mini tripod has been a robust, high-quality option for the equatorial mode and for overall stability. Next in the box, you'll find a magnetic clip-on solar filter for photographing the surface of the sun. This filter magnetically clips to the main objective to ensure a safe solar imaging experience. And lastly, you'll find a USB-C cable for charging the internal battery. So the Dwarf Mini can be used while charging, but we found that the 4-hour battery life was plenty for everything that we were doing each night out. Pairing it with a portable power supply such as the Aperture 155 would be perfect for a full night use while camping or in your backyard. Alright, so in this next section, we're going to talk about the DwarfLab app. Now, the first thing that we noticed was how intuitive the user interface was, and if you're just now jumping into the realm of astrophotography with the Dwarf Mini, then this is something that you're going to greatly appreciate, and honestly, even those who are into advanced astrophotography, you're going to appreciate this also, so buckle in because we're diving deep. First, power on the telescope, wait a few moments for the Wi-Fi signal to develop, and then click Connect in the app. Choose the Dwarf Mini as your option and join the network. Once it connects, you are ready to start imaging. To access the heart of the DwarfLab app, click Live and it will take you to the imaging page where you will see the real-time view through your telescope's main lens and wide field lens. So first we're going to talk about the icons on the main page. So we'll start at the rectangle on the top left of the screen. This will simply hide the other on-screen field of view. You can toggle this on or off whenever. Now below that, you'll find a circle with 3 little dots inside, and that's going to bring up another submenu where you'll find Skyfinder mode, EQ mode, curves and adjustments, and dark frames. Now the Skyfinder mode is one of my favorite parts about this app. Let's say you only have a small patch of sky available to you from your viewing location. Simply point your telescope towards that patch of sky and the Dwarf Mini will show you exactly which deep sky objects are available in that area through several miniature photographs and icons. This is one of my favorite features of any smart telescope that I have used in the past, and it bypasses the need for you to use your Sky Atlas or search for these deep sky objects manually. Once you select from any of the options available to you, your telescope will automatically move to it and start photographing it. Now, this is a huge win for those of you who have limited real estate that is unobscured by houses or trees. So let's continue. Next on this submenu, you'll see the EQ mode. Now, the EQ mode is available only if you have a tripod that pans up and down. The dedicated tripod for the Dwarf Mini is what we recommend. It is very sturdy and we had a fantastic time with it while we were testing this out. The in-app polar alignment instructions are extremely clear, and it only took me a minute or so to polar align to 1 degree of accuracy. Simply face the Dwarf logo south and tilt the tripod towards the North Star. From my location, it tells me that Polaris sits at 39 degrees. I'll do my best guess at manually pointing towards Polaris, and it will constantly update and tell me if I need to move my mount clockwise or counterclockwise, or up or down. Now, if you're unfamiliar with polar alignment or astrophotography, it's important to know that the more accurate your polar alignment, the longer your exposures can be before you start seeing star trails. We recommend starting at around 45 to 60 seconds and moving up or down from there, depending on your conditions. So we're back here on the main screen, and you'll see at the bottom left a photo icon, and from here you simply access your main photo album. You can also access the Infinity Lab where you can post-process, but we will get to that side of things here in a moment. The next and most obvious feature that you'll see is a large circle, which is your manual control. Simply drag the inner white circle outwards to dictate the speed you want your telescope to move in that given direction. This is mostly used in the solar system imaging mode and the general imaging mode, and we'll hit on this briefly in a moment. Next, in the top middle, you have the Sky Atlas, which will bring you to a vast planetarium. Now, the search icon on the top right will allow you to type the name of the object of interest or search through the recommended catalog of objects. Additionally, you can tap the compass on the bottom of the planetarium, and this will allow you to scan the skies with your phone and search for deep sky objects that way. If you want to take a mosaic or astro panorama, tap the rectangle icon on the top right and adjust your field of view to the desired height and width up to 1.8 by 1.8 times larger than the standard field of view. I unfortunately was not able to use the mosaic mode to take a photo of the Orion Nebula because it's dipping below my tree line late this season. Gear expert and astrophotographer here at High Point, Daniel, was able to take an epic mosaic of the Orion Nebula under dark skies. Take a look. Alright, let's continue. We're back here on the main screen, and you'll see a camera icon. This allows you to choose between taking a photo burst, a video, or a time lapse, and this is only relevant when using the planetary imaging mode or the general mode. Now, with that said, let's take a look at the different imaging modes. Top right. By clicking this icon, we have general imaging mode, deep sky imaging mode, solar system mode, and star trail mode. Let's start with general mode. This mode allows you to take a photo burst, video, or time lapse just like you would with your smartphone. For instance, I set up the Dwarf and pointed towards the sun with a solar filter on and took a time lapse of the sun setting low behind my trees. You can click on the focus icon to autofocus or adjust your focus manually, and directly below this you'll find the parameter button where you can adjust a plethora of different camera settings through both the telephoto lens and the wide photo lens, and this allows for just more creative control when using the general imaging mode. Now, the next imaging mode is the deep sky mode, and this is what the Dwarf is all about, and possibly the star trail imaging mode, because that was just really fun to use. After you click on the deep sky imaging mode, you can select the Skyfinder mode or the Atlas mode. Now, we talked about both of these options earlier, and either is a great way to choose a deep sky object to photograph, but I am personally partial to the Skyfinder mode. Once you decide upon an object to photograph, it will simply ask you to manually point your telescope towards a clear patch of sky, and then it's off to the races. Your Dwarf Mini will calibrate its location, locate your specific object, and start photographing and stacking your exposures in real time. Under the parameters section, you can once again change exposure time. In the alt-azimuth mode, we recommend starting with the 10 to 15 second exposures, but feel free to experiment with up to 30 seconds. Now, as we mentioned in the results section here coming up, we're going to show you just how fast it is to set the Dwarf up and start capturing your first deep sky object. We're going to move on from the deep sky imaging mode and talk about the solar system imaging mode, which is best used on the moon and the sun. Now, when selecting the sun, it will tell you to attach your included solar filter and then manually center the sun using the directional pad. Once centered, hit track, and the Dwarf will continue to track the sun for a prolonged duration while you shoot a photo burst, a video, or a time lapse. From the solar imaging mode, you can capture some pretty cool photos of the sun and even some details on sunspots on the solar surface. When you select the moon, you want to follow this exact same process. Now, finally, we're going to move on to star trail mode. When the skies are clear, simply point your telescope in any direction toward the sky. Now, by clicking the duration, top right, you can choose to generate two types of videos, a classic buildup as well as a comet style video. Now, you can see the two differences up here on the screen. The classic style buildup simply looks like an animated version of a classic star trail photo, while the comet style video makes it look as though the stars are falling from the sky as comets. I am personally partial to the comet style video. Now, that pretty much sums up the entire UI, but the last thing that we have yet to talk about is post-processing in the Dwarf Infinity Lab. From the home screen where you connect to your Dwarf Mini, tap on the album icon at the bottom of the page. Here, the first option is to choose to do a mega stack, and this is where you can stack several nights worth of imaging sessions together to form a single image, given they all use the same exposure length. Now, this means that you can potentially combine hours worth of exposure time to create a high contrast and beautifully colored astrophoto. The next option is you can dive into the Stellar Studio, where the app will upload and process your image by applying background extraction, noise reduction, sharpening, and you can see the improvement on your astrophoto from a single tap of a button. Stellar Studio takes the data and the images that you captured and with a tap of a button turns it into an incredible astrophoto, and you don't have to mess around or learn about curves and adjustment and saturation and star remover or anything like that. But of course, if you want to, it does output raw TIFF files, so you can upload your images to your favorite editing software, whether it be Photoshop or PixInsight, and post-process there. Alright, so that is basically the entirety of the DwarfLab app. As you can see, it's very simple yet robust and chock full of features and controls for those who still want a thorough and creative smart telescope experience. Now, it is time to address the question: is this telescope sacrificing something for the sake of portability? We're going to take the Dwarf Mini out to the backyard, and I'm going to go through the entire setup process from powering on and connecting to achieving an astrophoto. And I just want to show you how simple that process is. We'll meet you outside. Alright, so if you've made it this far, then you either skipped the entire video to see the results, to which you missed all of our awesome cinematic B-roll shots and our deep dive into the Dwarf Mini, and you missed, well, you missed out. But that's okay. And for those of you who stayed, we thank you, as does the algorithm. Now, I am going to show you just how simple the Dwarf Mini is to use. The timer starts now. All right, first thing first, I know that I'm going to eventually have to point the telescope up towards a clear patch of sky. Now I'm going to power it on. All right, once it's powered on for several seconds, it's going to allow me to connect within the DwarfLab app. All right, so I'm going to hit connect. Searching for nearby devices. All right, click Dwarf Mini, hit join. All right, we are connected and ready to go. I'm going to hit live, and now from here on the top right hand corner, I'm going to make sure I choose deep sky mode. I'm going to go to the atlas, hit the search bar on the top right, and I know that I'm going to search for Messier 65, which is one of the galaxies within the Leo triplet. All right, make sure it's framed up. and hit photograph. Now it's going to calibrate the night sky, and I'm going to scoot back just so I don't interfere. All right, okay, it's already searching for Messier 65. Oh, there it is. All right, it's tracking. I'm going to go ahead and adjust my parameters. Shutter speed, let's go 15 seconds. Now it's just initializing. All right, we've started our exposure of Messier 65, or the entire Leo triplet, 3 minutes and 45 seconds, maybe 3 minutes and 50 seconds. Capturing in progress. All right, let's go. It's right there on the screen. Yes. Now that we have the Leo triplet captured, I'm gonna spend some time photographing this, and then I think I'm gonna dance around the night sky a little bit and explore some of my other favorite deep sky objects. Let's get to it. At the beginning of this project, we asked ourselves, does the Dwarf Mini sacrifice quality, image quality, build quality for the sake of portability? But what really surprised me was how often I just wanted to bring it outside and actually use it. Simply put, this is not something that I have ever felt with any other smart telescope that I have used in the past. So does the Dwarf Mini sacrifice quality for the sake of portability? In our opinion, absolutely not. Now, we forget that the Dwarf Mini or smart telescopes, we can lose sight of their purpose. And the purpose of the Dwarf Mini is to bring more people out under the night sky, to make astrophotography and astronomy, amateur astronomy, more accessible. And we think that Dwarf Labs absolutely nailed it with the Dwarf Mini. Now, this might be just a stepping stone for some, for those who are looking to get into more dedicated astrophotography. Maybe you have the Dwarf Mini and you don't even know that you're going to be getting into dedicated astrophotography. But this could be just one small step in that long journey. And for others, this is exactly what you're looking for, whether it be just the stopping point. You just want to get into amateur astronomy and explore the night sky. The Dwarf Mini is going to be a great option for you. So that is our full review and deep dive on the Dwarf Mini from Dwarf Labs. If you have any questions at all, please let us know in the comments and we will be more than happy to assist. Again, I am Tegan with High Point. Thank you so much for tuning in, and clear skies.